Lina hadn't expected the coastal town to feel so alive. Her suitcase was barely unpacked, her breakup only just beginning to scar over, and already the salt air had sunk into her skin like seduction. The cottage was quiet, tucked at the edge of the property, with ivy-draped fences and tall hedges shielding her from the world. Except the neighbor, Elise. Lina first saw her on the second evening, barefoot in the garden next door, sun catching the curve of her collarbone, watering wild roses like she had nowhere else to be. She was maybe late 30s, effortlessly elegant, with a way of holding herself like she knew what attention cost and how to charge double. Lina watched too long. Elise noticed. She smiled. Not the sweet, friendly smile of a stranger, but something slow and knowing. That night, Lina couldn't sleep. She kept hearing a soft laugh over the hedge. Imagine fingers pressing her down into cool sheets. She touched herself once, quietly, in the dark. Thought of Elise's mouth, even though they hadn't spoken yet. The next day, Elise brought over a basket of lemons. Figured you could use some flavor, she said, stepping into Lina's space like she'd been invited. It's easy to go bland when you're alone. Her voice was deep, textured, amused. Lina flushed and took the basket. Thank you, she said, far too aware of how her shorts felt suddenly small, how Elise's eyes lingered at the edge of her neckline. You're welcome, darling. Elise touched her wrist as she handed the fruit over. You're here alone? Lina nodded. Elise's smile curved at the corners. That won't last long. The first kiss came 2 nights later. Elise had invited her for a drink, something sparkling and dry on her back patio. Her husband was away on business, she said. Her eyes didn't flicker when she said it, but her leg brushed Lina's under the table, deliberate and slow. Conversation drifted from music to literature to love and back again. You've got that hungry look, Elise said softly. What look? Elise leaned forward, her hand brushing over Lina's knee. The kind that wants to be told what to do. Lina's heart slammed. Her thighs pressed together. Am I wrong? Elise asked. Lina shook her head, lips parted. No, she whispered. Elise kissed her, one hand gripping Lina's jaw, the other already sliding up the back of her neck like she owned the girl's spine. Lina wasn't sure how she ended up on her knees in Elise's living room that night. But she wanted to be there. Elise circled her like a storm, slow and controlled. Lina knelt, naked, hands resting on her thighs, back straight, as instructed. You're beautiful like this, Elise murmured behind her. Obedient. Lina's breath came short. You want to please me, don't you? Yes, Lina whispered. You want rules. Yes. You'll follow them, even if it makes you ache. Yes. A silk ribbon slid down her chest, tied expertly around her wrists behind her back. Elise's fingers brushed her throat. No touching yourself. Not unless I allow it. She leaned in, lips grazing Lina's ear. And no coming without my permission. Lina whimpered, already wet, already desperate. I'll ruin you gently, Elise said. And you'll beg for more. Elise didn't take Lina to the bedroom. She kept her in the living room, all open windows, half-pulled curtains, and flickering candlelight, like she wanted the world to hear the girl moan. The silk ribbon binding Lina's wrists was tight but not painful, knotted with practiced ease. You've never done this before, have you? Elise asked, crouching down to face her. One manicured nail traced the corner of Lina's mouth. Lina shook her head, cheeks burning. No, mistress. Elise's eyes sparkled. Good girl. You learn fast. Something deep inside Lina clenched. The words good girl hit harder than she expected, a sharp, beautiful ache. She wanted to melt into the carpet. Let's test your discipline. Elise stood, letting the silk hem of her dress brush Lina's shoulder. She disappeared for a moment into the next room. When she returned, she carried a sleek leather riding crop. Lina's breath caught. Elise twirled it lazily in her hand. This isn't about pain. It's about focus. She tapped it once against her palm. Pleasure you earn. Or lose. She circled Lina again, trailing the crop down her spine, then across her thigh. You're going to kneel right here. Legs apart. Back straight. Eyes on the floor. Lina nodded quickly, obeying. The carpet was plush under her knees, but her thighs were already trembling. Elise sat in the armchair across from her, legs crossed, watching. "Tell me something true," she said after a moment. Lina blinked, surprised. "Something true?" "Yes. About what you want." "I want," Lina swallowed. "I want to be used." Elise didn't smile this time. She just breathed in, like the words had weight. "Do you want to come tonight?" she asked softly. "Yes." "Then you'll do exactly what I say. And you'll wait until I give you permission. Or you'll leave wet and unsatisfied." Lina bit her lip. "Yes, mistress." Elise didn't touch her at first. Instead, she gave orders. Voice calm, like she was directing a performance. "Kiss the floor in front of me. Show me how what you are. Turn around. Present yourself." With every movement, Lina's pulse raced. Her body burned. Her nipples were hard, aching to be touched, but the ribbon held her arms useless behind her. She was exposed, humiliated, desperate. Elise only watched. Occasionally, she reached between her own legs, a slow, silent, 2 fingers disappearing beneath silk. Lina couldn't stop trembling. "Please," she gasped, thighs twitching. "Please, I need." The riding crop snapped across her thigh. "Not hard. Not cruel. Just corrective." "You need patience," Elise said. "You want release. But I own your pleasure now. Understand?" Lina whimpered. "Yes, mistress." At last, Elise rose. She stepped behind Lina, one hand sliding between her legs, the other pressing against the back of her neck to bend her further forward. "You're soaked." "Yes," Lina panted. "You haven't earned anything yet." 2 fingers slid inside. Lina moaned loud, uncontrolled. Elise crooked her fingers just right and stopped. Right at the edge. "Do not come," she whispered. Lina sobbed, clenching around nothing. She was close. Too close. Elise withdrew. Slapped her ass with the crop once, sharp and precise. "Breathe through it." She did. Minutes passed. Elise worked her slowly, carefully, bringing her to the brink again, then pulling away. Touching, then denying. Again. And again. By the 4th time, Lina was shaking uncontrollably. "Beg," Elise said softly. "Please, mistress," Lina gasped. "I'll do anything you want." "You will," Elise murmured. And then, "Come for me." The orgasm hit like a wave crashing over her. Loud. Raw. Body convulsing under Elise's hands as she cried out into the floor. She heard Elise's satisfied breath. Felt her lips brush behind her ear. "Good girl." Elise untied her carefully, then pulled Lina into her lap like a lover. She wrapped them both in a throw blanket and kissed her hair. "You did beautifully," she whispered. Lina clung to her, eyes glassy. "You feel safe?" Elise asked. "Yes, mistress." "You'll come to me tomorrow night?" Lina didn't hesitate. "Yes." Elise was already waiting when Lina arrived at her garden gate the next evening. White sundress. Hair pinned up. A single gold chain glinting at her throat. "Come in," she said softly, but the words were not casual. They were command. Lina followed, heart racing. She hadn't been able to stop thinking about the night before. Her body still ached in the most delicious ways. She had touched herself 3 times that morning and stopped each time, remembering Elise's voice in her head. "You don't come unless I say so." Now, standing again in her presence, it was all back, the need, the thrill, the anticipation. But Elise didn't pull her inside this time. Instead, she handed Lina a wine glass and led her to the garden bench beneath the trees. "My husband is back," she said, eyes not leaving Lina's. "He's inside, asleep. We have an hour." Lina's stomach twisted with a blend of panic and arousal. "Elise." Elise silenced her with a finger to her lips. "He never comes down until after 8. And he sleeps through everything. I've tested it." She leaned in, breath hot against Lina's ear. "We're safe, for now." Then she reached into her bag and withdrew a remote, small, sleek, black. She held it up between 2 fingers, then smiled. "You're going to wear something for me tonight." Inside Elise's bedroom, Lina stripped quickly. Elise handed her a smooth, pink silicone vibrator, small, curved, clearly designed to tease. It's remote-controlled, Elise said, eyes sharp. You'll keep it in. You won't take it out unless I say. You won't come without permission. You'll sit beside me, perfectly composed, and act like nothing's wrong. Lina swallowed. And if someone sees? That's the game, darling. Elise leaned in, her voice low and dangerous. You want to be my good girl? Then show me you can be brave. They walked into town like two friends enjoying a summer evening. The cafe had patio seating and fairy lights strung from the awning. Lina's heart thundered as she sat down across from Elise. No one would guess. No one could see the tiny toy buried inside her. Until Elise pressed the remote. Lina jerked slightly in her seat, legs clenching. Elise stirred her coffee, unbothered. Tell me what you see on the menu. Lina cleared her throat, blinking hard. Tuna tartine. Peach salad. Elise tapped the remote again, a slow pulse. Lina shifted, biting her lip. Elise's gaze never moved from hers. You're soaking that little toy already, aren't you? Lina nodded, cheeks flushed. And you're not going to come. You're going to sit and eat your food and smile like a well-trained slut. The word made Lina's stomach twist with shameful delight. Yes, mistress. They stayed an hour. Every 10 minutes, Elise pressed the remote again. Sometimes for 2 seconds. Sometimes longer. She watched Lina carefully, noting every tremble, every slip of composure. When the waiter arrived with dessert, Lina nearly spilled her water. Careful, Elise said sweetly. You don't want to make a scene. By the time they stood to leave, Lina's legs were trembling. Did you like that? Elise whispered as they rounded the corner toward the path back to the house. Yes. Would you do more? Yes. Would you kneel for me in a public place? Lina looked at her, breath caught. You mean outside? Elise took her hand. I mean here, she said, guiding Lina into a small, overgrown garden just off the walking path, shielded by hedges, dark and shadowed. The kind of place no one noticed. On your knees. Lina obeyed without hesitation. The vibrator buzzed on full now and Lina whimpered, hands gripping the hem of Elise's dress as she knelt in the grass. You're perfect like this, Elise murmured, lifting the skirt slightly, baring herself to Lina's desperate gaze. You've earned it. Come taste what obedience gets you. Lina moaned and leaned forward. Her mouth met Elise's heat, wet, slick, intoxicating. Elise gripped her hair with both hands, grinding herself slowly against Lina's tongue, hips rolling in tight, controlled circles. You make me proud, she whispered. You're mine now, little pet. Lina was dizzy with it. The taste. The scent. The risk. She could hear footsteps passing on the path beyond the hedge. But no one saw. No one knew. Only Elise. Only the woman gasping above her, thighs tightening around her head as she came, quietly, forcefully, dripping onto Lina's tongue. When Elise finally pulled her back, she kissed her. Now, she said, you may come. She pressed the remote once more. Lina shattered, legs buckling, the orgasm crashing through her in waves as she clung to Elise's thigh. Back inside, Elise cleaned her gently. She took out the toy, bathed her in the candlelit bathroom, wrapped her in a towel like something precious. You were perfect, she said, brushing damp hair from Lina's forehead. Lina could barely speak. I want more, she whispered. You'll get more, Elise promised. But next time, she said, voice low and dangerous, you'll wear the collar. It had been 2 days since the garden. 2 days since Lina had fallen apart in Elise's lap, soaking through her climax with the threat of discovery just inches away. And now she was back inside Elise's home, quiet, locked, the blinds drawn. You've done well, Elise said as she circled her again, same as before. You take orders like you were built to submit. Lina stood still, heart hammering, already nude. She'd stripped on command the moment the door closed. But I want more tonight. Elise stopped behind her, slid her hand down the curve of Lina's ass. I want to break you open. You've held back, even when you obeyed. There's still a layer of control in you. Something tight. Something scared. She cupped between Lina's legs, found her soaking. I want to drown it. Lina whimpered, already pliant. Do you trust me? Yes, mistress. even when your body stops knowing where it ends? Yes. Good girl. Elise led her to the bedroom. Candles flickered low. On the bed, towels, lube, and something new, a wand vibrator. Thick. Powerful. Undeniably intimidating. Lina stared. You're going to come, Elise said calmly. A lot. But you're going to keep your legs wide open. And you won't close them unless I say. She guided Lina onto the bed, laying her flat on the towels. Wrists were loosely cuffed and bound above her head. Ankles strapped into soft leather that kept her legs spread apart. Helpless. Vulnerable. Perfect. Then the wand clicked on. Low rumbling. You're sensitive, Elise murmured, kneeling beside her. I've been keeping you on edge for days. It's time to let go. She pressed the wand to Lina's clit. Lina gasped, hips jerking immediately. Elise held her down with one hand on her abdomen, the other steady with the wand. No teasing this time. No edging. Just overwhelming, focused pressure. Within seconds, Lina was trembling. Oh my God. Don't close your legs, Elise warned, voice smooth. Mistress, I can't. You can. Or you lose the privilege of touch for a week. Lina's moan was half sob, half surrender. And then, release. Her hips surged up. The pressure built and broke like a tidal wave. But Elise didn't stop. She pressed harder, drawing another orgasm out of her immediately. Lina screamed, arching, bound hands pulling uselessly at the cuffs. I can't, please, I'm gonna. Let it happen. The wand stayed on. Lina's body twitched, shook, and then the sound, a sudden splash, wet against the towels. She came again, this time gushing. Her thighs were slick. The sheets wet. Her breath shattered. Good girl, Elise purred, not stopping. Look how messy you're for me. Lina didn't know how long it lasted. Time blurred. One orgasm crashed into the next, her body completely out of her control. She sobbed, moaned, gushed again. Elise finally pulled the wand away only when Lina was limp, soaked, trembling, eyes glassy with exhaustion. You squirted beautifully, Elise whispered, unbuckling the cuffs gently. 3 times. Lina couldn't speak, could barely move. Elise cleaned her slowly, like always. A warm cloth. Fresh sheets. A blanket pulled over them. She kissed Lina's temple and whispered, that was you, fully opened. No holding back. Lina smiled faintly, eyes fluttering shut. I didn't know I could do that. You can do anything, Elise said. As long as you're mine. Lina hadn't been invited over for 4 days. The ache wasn't just between her legs, it was deeper now, laced with need and something dangerously close to longing. She walked past Elise's garden gate twice a day, pretending not to glance. Lights on. Curtains drawn. Her body tense with hope. When the message finally came, it was short. Come over. But be silent. He's awake. Lina's breath caught. Her fingers hovered over the reply. Then, on my way. Elise opened the back door just enough to slip her hand out and pull Lina inside. The moment the door closed, Elise spun her around and pressed her against the wall, lips crashing down, hard and hungry. No words. Not yet. She tasted like wine and danger. He's upstairs, Elise whispered into her ear, breath warm. Showers running. 15 minutes, maybe less. She gripped Lina's jaw. Still want to play? Lina nodded. Yes, mistress. Then strip. She did. Quickly. Quietly. Elise pulled her down the hall, not to the bedroom, but to the kitchen. It was wide, open, windows along one wall, lights low. I want to see how obedient you can be, Elise murmured, running her hands down Lina's sides. How still? How quiet? She reached into a drawer, retrieved a butt plug, slender and jeweled. Lina's eyes widened. She'd never worn one. I'll help you, Elise said gently, tone soft but firm. You'll feel full. Controlled. Owned. A moment later, Elise was on her knees, lubing the plug with careful fingers, parting Lina's ass cheeks slowly. Relax, she whispered. Let me in. With a low groan, Lina obeyed, and the toy slid inside. She gasped, nearly stumbling. Shoo, Elise stood again, licking her fingers. Now, bend over the counter. The plug made every step feel exaggerated, hyper-aware. Lina braced her hands on the cool marble, ass in the air. Elise stood behind her, sliding a hand between her thighs. The touch was featherlight, maddening. "Your pussy's dripping already," she murmured. "You like the danger?" "I do," Lina whispered. "God, I do. You want to get caught, don't you?" "No," she said, but her body said yes. Elise leaned in, pressing her lips to Lina's ear. "He's upstairs. Maybe 10 feet away. If you moan too loud, he hears. If you come too hard, you'll knock something over." Lina whimpered. Elise's fingers slid inside too, deep, curling. Her other hand gripped the plug and moved it, rocking it gently. Lina bit down on her wrist to stay quiet. "Good girl," Elise whispered. "Don't you dare come yet." She kept her there, teased her, fucked her with fingers and pressure and whispered filth. And then a sound. Elise stopped immediately. Lina froze. The shower had gone quiet. "He's out," Elise breathed. "Stay exactly like this. Don't make a sound." She walked away, calmly, quietly, and disappeared around the corner into the hallway. Lina was left bent over, plug inside, thighs shaking, breath ragged. She could hear Elise's voice upstairs. Casual. Normal. Talking to him. The clink of a glass. Laughter. The plug throbbed with her heartbeat. 10 minutes passed. 20. Then footsteps coming down. Lina's stomach flipped. She reached to stand up. But the door creaked open and Elise was back. Still in position, she said approvingly. "That's my girl." Lina nearly collapsed with relief. "Take your hands off the counter," Elise commanded. Lina obeyed. Elise walked behind her, gripped the plug again, and slowly, so slowly, pulled it out. Lina cried out, barely catching herself. "Now," Elise said, guiding her to her knees. "You've earned your reward." Elise slid down her panties, sat on the kitchen chair, spread her legs. Tongue only. No hands. Quiet as the grave. Lina nodded and leaned in, tongue flat, slow, worshipful. She didn't care about the house anymore. Or the risk. She just wanted to drown in Elise again. And Elise let her. Fingers tangled in Lina's hair, her soft moans barely audible. "I should make you wear the plug home," she said, breathless. "So you remember who you belong to." Lina nodded against her cunt. "I'd do it," she whispered. "You will." The next time, Lina came over before dark. A text. One word. "Now." She slipped through the garden gate like a secret, nerves sharp, body already wet from anticipation. When Elise opened the door, she didn't speak, just grabbed her by the collar of her coat and pulled her inside. Their lips met in a crash of hunger. Elise pinned Lina to the wall, hands roaming over her coat, sliding down to lift her dress. "No time," she breathed. "He's downstairs. Watching a film. Volumes loud." Lina's eyes went wide. "Here? Now?" "Yes." Elise's voice was calm, but her eyes were dark with danger. "And you're going to stay quiet. Completely. Silent." "I can't." "You will." Elise spun her around, bent her over the arm of the couch in the foyer, one room over from the living room. No doors between. Just a wall. Lina trembled. Elise didn't undress her fully, only pushed her panties to the side, pulled her dress up, and unzipped her own jeans just enough. "I want to hear you not making a sound," she whispered. And then she slid inside her. The moment Elise entered her, Lina almost broke. She clutched the couch, teeth clenched, eyes wide. The sound of the television drifted through the wall. Some nature documentary. Birdsong. British accents. Soothing. Calm. Nothing like what was happening just feet away. Elise fucked her slowly, deliberately, one hand around her throat, the other gripping her hip. "You like this," she murmured, lips against Lina's ear. "Being a filthy little secret. Being used where anyone could walk in." Lina nodded, helpless. "You want me to ruin you while he's just over there." A soft whimper escaped. Elise stopped. "Control," she hissed. "Or I'll leave you dripping and undone." Lina bit her lip hard. Just as Elise's thrusts grew harder, just as Lina's body started to tremble, a sound. Footsteps. Coming down the hall. Elise froze. Lina gasped silently. burying her face in the cushion. The footsteps paused. A voice. Elise? Her husband. She pulled out immediately, yanked Lina's panties back up, dress down. Her fingers pressed Lina down into the couch. I'm in the back, Elise called, her voice smooth. Give me a minute. Lina's heart slammed. Her pussy throbbed, so close to release, but now clenched in fear. She could hear him walking closer. Closer. Elise grabbed a nearby throw blanket, tossed it over Lina's legs, and in one smooth motion, sat beside her, curling her fingers around a half-finished book on the coffee table. Her husband stepped into the room. Hey, he said casually smiling. Didn't know you had someone over. Elise looked up, cool as glass. My cousin's daughter. She dropped in. He turned to Lina. Oh, right. From the countryside, yeah? You're the artist, aren't you? Lina nodded, throat dry. Yes. I was, just leaving. He smiled. Don't let Elise talk your ear off. She'll rope you into a book club. Lina forced a laugh. I'll try. Then, a miracle. His phone rang. Shit, he muttered. I gotta take this. He turned. Walked out. Door shut. Silence. Elise didn't move. Her hand slid under the blanket, between Lina's legs, and pressed. Lina gasped, eyes wide. You stayed quiet, Elise whispered. Then she leaned in, biting softly at Lina's neck. Now finish for me. She rubbed, hard, fast, merciless, under the blanket as Lina trembled. This time, Lina came with her teeth sunk into Elise's shoulder, a silent scream caught in her throat. They didn't speak for several minutes. Just sat there, breathless. Elise held her close, her hand still between Lina's thighs, feeling the aftershocks. I shouldn't have risked that, she said finally. But you did, Lina replied. Elise looked at her. And for the first time, there was something like fear behind her eyes. He's not stupid, she murmured. Next time, we might not be lucky. Lina reached for her hand. I don't care. Elise kissed her, not rough, not hungry. Soft. But when Lina left that night, she felt it. A shift. Something dangerous was coming. The house was silent again. Lina stood in Elise's bedroom, half-dressed, heart thudding as Elise tied the final knot of the red rope around her wrists, bound tightly behind her back. Elise stepped back to admire her. Look at you, she whispered. Beautiful. Owned. Mine. Lina trembled, the silk blindfold soft over her eyes. Her skin still hummed from the marks left behind the night before, Elise's teeth, her palm, the long curve of the plug still waiting inside her. It was their last night together. For now. Elise had said it plainly when Lina arrived. He's suspicious. I have to pull back. He asked about the towels. The perfume on the guest coat hook. Your name. Lina hadn't argued. She just asked one more night. And Elise had said yes. The room was darker than usual. Only a single standing mirror in the corner reflected the candlelight. Lina couldn't see it, blindfolded, bound, standing with her legs spread. But she felt Elise circling her like always. You're going to remember this every time you look at yourself in a mirror, Elise murmured. That's what I want. I want you to see a reflection and ache. She stepped behind Lina and cupped her breasts, squeezing gently. I could do anything I wanted to you right now. And you'd let me. Lina nodded. Yes, mistress. Elise kissed her neck, then moved to the mirror, adjusting it carefully, positioning it just so. Then she removed the blindfold. Lina blinked, vision slowly adjusting, and saw her own reflection. Nude. Bound. Flushed. Elise stood behind her, one hand gripping the back of her neck, the other sliding between her thighs. You're perfect like this, she whispered. Lina stared at the mirror, at herself. And something cracked inside her. A sharp, unbearable want. She didn't just want Elise's control. She didn't just want the toys, or the pain, or the secrecy. She wanted her. All of her. Elise pushed the wand against her clit, whispering, "Don't look away." Lina obeyed. Her orgasm tore through her in waves, harder than any before. She cried out, knees buckling, body shaking violently against the ropes. She squirted again, soaking the towel beneath her feet, helpless and undone. And Elise held her through it, mouth at her ear, whispering praises only Lina would ever hear. "I'm going to miss you like this," she said softly. Lina's breath hitched. "Then don't let it end." Elise didn't respond. She just untied her, held her close, and pressed their foreheads together. "This chapter's closing," Elise murmured. "But stories like ours don't really end, do they?" Lina swallowed. "No, mistress." A pause. Then Elise smiled. "Leave the mirror right there.